Okay. So this has to be quick, just because my roommate is sleeping and he wants to go to bed, and it is currently 11:55. But I need to ramble on a little bit because I just got off the phone with my girlfriend and then I took a shower. But I got to talking about time, my absolute most favorite thing on the planet Earth. Talking about time just it's so amazing. My mind just starts going on and on and on. Time is just so interesting. It's so fascinating. And when I get into these big conversations, when I start just like just going off into this weird crazy place, my brain works so hard that I can start feeling like my forehead getting warm. That's how fast, like, that's just how the time works. Anyway, okay. So I'm just gonna kind of ramble on and bring up anything and everything that I could come up with as far as time. Just the things that I've kind of pieced together and the ideas that I want to bring up. So we'll start off with time dilation. So I watched this video. I need to go and make sure that I get the link to the video and put it in the description because it's kind of what made this entire ball start rolling. But it's about time dilation. And so I was in the video, it describes the scene from Interstellar. I don't know if you've seen that movie with Matthew McConaughey. Very amazing movie. But in this one scene, they go to this planet that is called Miller's Planet, and the entire plot point of this planet in the movie is that when you get there, because of the location of the planet near a black hole, time is slowed down to the point that every 1.25 seconds on this planet is a day on Earth. So it basically equals out to every hour on this planet is 7 years back at Earth, which is crazy. And so you might think, so what? It's fictional, blah, 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 blah. But when you start getting into the ideas and the theory and how it works, it's mind-boggling. It's time is slowed down by gravity, and that doesn't make sense to start out with. So the easiest explanation is if you have two astronauts, one is floating in the complete vacuum of space, not affected by any gravity whatsoever. And then you have another astronaut who's located in the same, this is just a scenario to describe it, but in an area close enough to a black hole to where it's affected by gravity enough that time slows down. So there's two things. I'll start with this one and then we'll go to the next one. So say this astronaut that was over here in the vacuum is just watching this astronaut that is located next to the black hole. He's looking at him, and to this guy out here in the vacuum, the guy next to the black hole, he's taking a breath like once every couple of days. Hello. He's taking a breath like once every couple of days. It's slow and okay, sorry. Night Tech just walked by and looked at me all weird. I wonder what. But anyway, okay, so astronaut floating out in the vacuum looks at the astronaut that's next to the black hole and sees that it seems like that astronaut is only taking a breath every 2 days. Both of the astronauts are experiencing time just like you would right now. Right now, you're just thinking, you're processing a second's a second, blah, 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 blah. Everything is moving at the same rate of speed, right? Both of them are experiencing it. It's not like he's moving in slow motion or anything like that. Okay, and this is why. This is how it works. So, say the astronaut that's next to the black hole were to shine a laser. A laser is the easiest example that he gives in the video. And he just shined it on for 1 second, and then he turns it off after exactly 1 second. So, a beam of light is just a certain wavelength, right? And the specific beam of light that happens to be the green lasers that they have, it moves around really, really fast. And so, because it's visible light. And then on the spectrum of light, it goes from microwaves and then all the way to, I can't remember the other one, but basically microwaves are really, really big waves. Oh, wait, no, radio waves and microwaves. Microwaves are just longer than the really fast bouncing waves of light. So this astronaut shines the laser for 1 second and then turns it off. That laser, that light is going through space. Is going through space, and it's going really, really fast. So it's going away from the gravity of the black hole. So the gravity of the black hole is slowing it down, meaning the light cannot escape fast enough to stay that one color. That's the entire reason why black holes are black, is because their gravity is so strong not even light can escape going from them. So this green laser is shined going that way, and it's bouncing really, really fast, but the gravity of the black hole is slowing down the wavelength to the point that it's much bigger, and it's a microwave. And it finally reaches this astronaut that's over here floating just in the vacuum of space. But it's not visible light at this point. It's microwaves. You can't even see it. But the whole point of this is that astronaut next to the black hole shines it for just 1 second, right? 1 second of green light goes out. Well, because the gravity is pulling and not letting that light escape, and it's slowing it down, it doesn't mean that this astronaut that's over here in a vacuum, he's not just going to get 1 second of microwave. All of the light still has to come through eventually. It's still going. The wave is still coming regardless. It's just at a slower pace. And so while this astronaut over here might have shined it for just a second, this astronaut that's over in the vacuum of space, he's going to be getting minutes, hours, maybe even days of microwave. That's just this one tightly compact second of green light extended out way further. And so that's how time dilation works. That's why that's the logic of how it works in the movie. And so then I took this and I started thinking of it back onto kind of like what I want to do at Neralink, in the sense that if we can figure out a way to access the part of the brain that conceives time and makes a software, makes a program, makes some sort of way that we can make our perception of time slower, then the possibilities are limitless. If we can slow down our perception of time, even if it's just internally, and have some sort of program where it's going to be very extremely difficult to have a program, have a software where you're basically a character within the software. Time is going slower, but you're still you. And then you also have to have uploadable content, downloadable content, so that you can bring in a book. You have downloaded a book to the software so that you can read the entire book in this program that's in your head, all of this stuff, blah, 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 blah. But that whole point is that if you slow down time, you can get more accomplished, and then I can do everything that I want to do. So it's a selfish aspect, but whatever. And so then I was thinking, well, how could we take advantage of this time dilation and potentially move through space, go do something, just an idea, to where you're located next to a black hole and time is moving slower for you, and say back on Earth time is moving faster, 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 but then you just get the exact same thing like what is shown in the movie, meaning you'll be over where time is going slower. It seems like it's just going normally for you. You're just doing whatever, and then when you get back and you come back to Earth, or you go back to wherever you were going, it's been 40 years past and whatever. So in a sense, you're time traveling, just meaning by the time you get back, you're in the future. But then it brings up another aspect that I don't really quite understand about time, which is pretty crazy, is that when you're moving, acceleration makes time move slower. An example of this is the International Space Station. As it's moving around the planet, they experience time slower. I don't know the exact numbers, but basically, if you're up there for a certain amount of time, you've experienced less time than us. Just an hour down here would be 50 minutes up there. That's not exactly how it is, but whatever. So they have to take this into account when they're dealing with their clocks, when they're dealing with any sort of message transmission, when they're dealing with any sort of that. And so if it's just acceleration that makes the time slow down, it's almost like, where can you go with that? I don't know. A lot of this I'm just taking from the video, really exactly verbatim, but I want to expand on the way that just time is an extra dimension. It's this entirely... It's the ruler of all. Time is the ultimate power that really decides whether you do anything. If you want to get better at anything, you just have to spend more time doing it. If you want to see something die, see something disintegrate, see something grow, see anything, it's just a matter of time. It's all time. Everything is time, dude. And it's so bonkers. It's... Why do they keep knocking on that next door? I don't understand. Shoot, made me lose my freaking train of thought. So, if time is just acceleration, another thing that you get into is ridiculous amount of scale. When you think into perspective of Earth in retrospect to the entire universe, it's so small, and then below us there's incomprehensible amount of smallness. The scale is just so big, and we can't even interact with it all. Like, we're so boxed into this ability to only interact with things that are our size. But if something's so microscopic that you can't see it, or something so gargantuan that you can't even comprehend how many Earths, suns, galaxies can fit into this gigantism, it's like, what is time like on those levels? How does time affect those type of things? And it kind of just rolls with everything. Time is the only... You have dimensions. You have length, width, height, which is basically your ability to move forward and backward, move all around, move up and down, anything in the planet. Those three dimensions are how we can interact with everything. And then time is this dimension that only moves forward. It's only going to ever move forward. So that's why this... That's why humans are capable of advancing, is because we have this memory that allows us to bring back past events that have happened in time. So in a sense, our brain really is the time traveler. Our brain really is the thing that remembers what has happened in the past and how it can affect the future. Our brain can go forward and process the potential of things that are going to happen in the future based on what's happened in the past. Man, I don't know. I don't even know what I would do to just think about it more. I mean, it's really just something... how do you even sit on that? How do you even sit on time? It's not physical. Its effects are physical. Its entire sense of being is something really that we made up, because when there were no people, when there were no clocks, there was no such thing as a second, there was no such thing as a year, there was no described anything like that. So what is it, dude? If it's something that we've created and just our perception of how stuff does stuff, what is it, man? And there's no end, man. It's... Time is bonkers. It's really, really bonkers. I wanted to wrap this up with something else. The scale is very important. Ridiculously small, ridiculously big. It almost completely takes away the idea that anything means anything. That's when you can start... Really, when I think of scale, I use it as a factor of not getting overworked by anything that makes me mad. Issues are when you think of something and it just seems like, oh, it's such a big deal, it's such a big part of your life, something that you need to fuss over, whatever. You live on a speck of dust in the middle of nowhere, and you could die whenever because you're so small. On the other end, it is the biggest thing in comparison to atoms and all of this, all of these things, blah, 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 blah. So it doesn't matter, because nothing matters. Yeah, I don't really know how to end this too much more, so I just kind of wanted to ramble for a little bit. I'm gonna slap this on YouTube real quick, and thanks for watching. Enjoy the ride.